The fall is kind of tough at times because everybody is together, but not everybody is on the same path, right? Especially on the pitcher side because they need time off. The position side, as you heard from Nick and Marshall, we had a really good fall with position players. And when you have older position players, you're able to do more with them. You're able to dig deeper into some baseball stuff because you're not having to teach all the little things. You go over them, but you don't have to spend as much time on them. So you have more time to do more in-depth things with the position players. The pitchers, it's a little bit different because guys are coming back from summer ball and they need time off. So everybody's on a little bit of a different path. So it's harder to see them as a collective group because, just for instance, this fall, Kide, Bully, Murphy, a couple other guys didn't throw a whole bunch because they were either coming back from a little bit of a cleanup or a little bit of rehab, and then other guys were out playing in the summer, so pitchers need time off. So it's a little bit harder to kind of gauge the pitchers as a whole entire group. We're still not at full strength. We will be this weekend. So everybody that's on the staff will participate in an inter-squad this weekend, so we'll have a better idea. But overall, I thought the fall was good. Got everything we needed to accomplish, we were able to accomplish.
John, I know you took a little bit of a hit there in the portal, lost the Friday guy. Who are you thinking is going to be, or do you know at this point, will you tinker for your Friday night person?
Well, between me, you, and the 9 people in here, we're right now our plan is James Littman. Murphy had some stuff cleaned up and he needs a little bit more time. James is healthy. I thought he had a really good year last year. He didn't play summer ball. He's able to participate all fall. Right now I anticipate James, going out there, and it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for him. But we think that he gives us the best chance to have a good weekend. And then the rest of it will fill in from there. So, but we're not worried about the people that aren't here. We're only concerned with who's here.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Coach, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
And you've obviously been here a very long time. You've seen people come and go, and you've seen college sports change. Can you speak to the nature of college sports and how it's been changing in the last few years?
Yeah, sure. I'm not shy. I think that we're going to look back in a number of years, and as the adults in the room, we're going to be ashamed of what we allowed happen. I don't begrudge anybody anything, but the lack of integrity in college athletics is alarming. For the ultimate, we want to win, right? And I think we're going to look back, and our job as adults and educators is to protect the young. And every society, the older people are supposed to protect the younger people. And I don't know if we've done a very good job of that, honestly. I love my job. I love Florida Atlantic. I love the ability to help impact the players' lives. And I know other coaches have, and what's going on now is really difficult. It's really difficult. You've taken transformational relationships and made everything transactional. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I think Florida Atlantic has done an amazing job of handling the new college athletics. And I know we hear some really bad horror stories on ESPN and et cetera, but it's not trending in the right way, right? I don't think it's trending in the right way. But that's my personal opinion. I just keep doing my job, and I operate under the same responsibilities and guidelines that I always have, and I'm not going to change because the portal. I'm not going to change because I fear someone losing. My job is to help these young men get ready for life, and we're going to do it through baseball, and I take that very seriously, and I'm not going to change. I'm going to evolve, but I'm not going to change.
Thank you, Coach. And
Okay.
focusing more on the team, have you seen anything exciting from some of the young guys, maybe the freshmen, maybe incoming transfers?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Lopez comes to mind. He had a really nice fall. He's pitching and hitting. He works really hard. Coming into college baseball as a freshman is difficult enough, and he's going to try to do both. So he's been really good. Garrett Grant on the pitching side has been phenomenal. He's come in and had a really, really good fall, and so far in the spring things haven't changed. Danny Machado had a nice fall, and he's been banged up a little bit, so we haven't seen him this spring. But I was excited about his maturity and his ability to come every day and play at a high level. And then there's another guy, Brody Jutnan, who was kind of, I don't want to say throw in the recruiting class, but it was a guy we saw late and said, hey, let's give him a shot. And in a normal year, we would probably think about redshirting him, but he's pushed, and we're going to have to pitch him. He's forced us to kind of carve out a role for him. He's very smart. He handles himself on the mound. The one thing about pitching is you have to be good, you have to have good stuff, but you also have to be able to compose yourself, and he does a really good job of that. The stuff is solid, but he does a great job of composing himself, and you wouldn't know that he's a young guy. He's not let the moment get too big for him. Now, I say all this, and people change completely when someone's in the other dugout in a different color uniform. Right now, we're all friends, and we've been playing against each other, and sure, you want to beat your roommate, and you want to have a good inter-squad, but it all changes when someone in the other dugout with a different color uniform on. But those are the couple guys that have been impressive. And the other guy that's really, other two guys, they've been here a year, but both TJ Gramercy and Jaden Harriel, who we redshirted both of those guys last year, they have been really good. They've been really good. It's going to be like Jaden plays third and Romano plays third. Jaden plays first, and Pat Ward is coming back, and Eli Small is here. We're going to have to do everything we can to get Jaden at bats. I mean, he's been pushing and pushing and pushing. He's done a really nice job. Very proud of him.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
We got a glimpse on Sunday of the home run derby, Xavier Maranta and Eli Small. The wind was blowing basically in or towards
Yeah, we don't
first
see that
base
much. We
dugout,
don't see that much.
And those two guys were still sending them out left and right.
Yeah.
So just talk about what they had.
Well, Eli is here. That's his thing, is power, which is always an attractive tool to have, especially at Florida Atlantic, especially if you're left-handed. And then, of course, Xavier, he's another one that, due to some NCAA rules, he's able to get another year. And he had kind of decided to come here in July when some of the behind-the-scenes paperwork had been done by the NCAA. He's just really smart. He certainly is good. But again, as much as there is no substitute for experience, and he has a ton of it. He's been in that box a lot. College athletics is getting older and older every year for a number of reasons. One, there seems to be a lot of waivers out there. Two, a lot of young people are graduating high school at 19. So as you get older, you just naturally mature. And he's been able to play a lot, and he's figured out a good version of his swing for Florida Atlantic, the way the park is set up. So we're happy about it. And he's enjoyable to have around. He's a very nice young man. He understands that he's kind of playing with house money. He's already played, 4.5 years, and now he gets another year. So he's like, this is dream come true, and it's fun to see him kind of be older and mature, but yet be a kid at the same time.
Coach, I wanted to circle back to the pitching lineup. It sounds like number 2 would be Murphy.
We would like it to be Murphy, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on number 3 at this point, or are you still kind of...
Well, I think Kilby, there are guys, Kilby, Kide, Zach Kide, and Garrett Grant are all options. The thing that we have to decide is what is best for the collective group, right? I think they would all like to start. I think we have to figure out what's best for the collective group. Is that we're going to use Kide for an example. Is pitching Kide on Sunday for 5 or 6 innings the best thing for Florida Atlantic? Or is it having him pitch 3 times in a week better, right? Is Kilby coming out of the pen twice a week, throwing 3 innings on Saturday and 3 innings on Wednesday? Is that more attractive to Florida Atlantic than having him go 5 innings on Sunday? And then Grant, those guys seem to have a better feel for pitching in relief than a guy like Grant does because he's never done it his whole life. So we have some decisions to make, and we have some conversations to have with guys. And I know Kilby, took the summer and kind of retooled his arsenal, and Kide is finally 100% healthy, and he looked really good last week. And it's going to be hard, and we're going to ask some guys to, maybe do something that I'm not saying they don't want to do, but they would rather do something different for the good of the team. So we do have some options, but if those guys are, one of those guys is throwing on the weekends and the bullpen isn't as good.
Would you stick with the same one, or would you potentially consider matchups with each series as to?
That's a possibility, but it becomes hard because if we commit to, say, Kide on weekend 1 and he throws 5 innings, then you can't use them again until the following week. So it's really hard. Then you're talking more of an opener, which I would rather just stick with one guy and then give someone an opportunity to either say, hey, this really worked, or maybe we have to look in a different direction. Because it does, it's hard to do that once a week because they need so much time off in between,
right?
Yeah. So it's hard to change each week.
Okay.
Coach, there was a lot of excitement for the players about the new coaching staff, new pitching coach, new strength coach. Can you speak about the new staff and how it's going to...
Sure. We'll start with Joey Bellini, who's our new hitting coach. He's a Florida guy. He grew up in the Orlando area, went to Kentucky, and then community college in the state of Florida at St. John's, and then finished up at Cincinnati, and then had been coaching at Xavier. He is, I call him the silent assassin. He doesn't, that's probably not a great word to use. He doesn't speak a whole bunch, but when he does, the guys really listen. And the thing that I like in the interview process is it was always about the guys and how to make them better, and not about what he knew or knows. I was very impressed with him, and he also works with the infielders. He reminds me of Greg Mamula, who was very successful here. So he's going to work with the hitters, and he's going to work with the infielders. Michael Cleary's back doing the recruiting, and he'll work with the outfielders, and of course he coaches third. Hunter Cooley is the new pitching coach. Of course, Hunter had pitched for us for 5 years, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And then he had been with us the last 2 years as the pitching assistant. And he's an impressive young guy. And, Al family He's part of our family. We're going to have to give him some time to mature. You know, coaching the pitchers is not easy. There's a lot of moving parts, and especially when you get into the season, when you're coaching the pitchers in the off season, you can structure everything out. So you know exactly, guys know exactly what they're doing all through September, all through October, into November. But when the season starts, and just as Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. Everybody has a plan until the first game, the guy doesn't get out of the second inning, and now everything changes, right? So we're going to have to, my job especially, I'm going to have to help him make decisions and help him keep things online, so to speak, because it's an art to learn that. So he's going to also have help. We hired Braden Ostrander as the pitching assistant, who had pitched here for the previous 5 years as well. And they work well together. They were good friends while they were here. And then Hunter, of course, is older, and he had been the pitching assistant while Braden was finishing up playing. They work well together, and I think they have the understanding of what it is to pitch here and how it's supposed to look. But my job, especially this year, is to make sure that I keep an eye on them and kind of keep reminding them of the bigger picture, right? But we're excited. The players are happy. The practices have been really good. The classroom sessions, the locker room stuff have been great. It's been fun. It has been fun, and now it's time to put all of that into the season and start playing games. We do have 2 more weeks left, which we need. But it's been good. And the other thing that we did that we hadn't really done in the past is we hired he's a student. A guy named Nathan Pardon has been helping us with analytics, and he's also been helping with the pitching and the bullpen and stuff like that. So that's something that we've added, is trying to do a little bit more analytics. Not too much where the guys get lost in it, but enough to kind of help them understand some of the things that they do well and some of the things that we might need to work on. Sometimes numbers are helpful.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it. You ask good questions. You 2 young ladies, you got to each ask a question. You can ask anything.
Think about it. Take a couple minutes and think about
Okay.
it. What
Who do you work for?
The University Press.
Okay, so you're going to get into the media field?
Yep.
Okay, so you got to ask a question. This is classwork. We're educators, right? So come up with anything. You can ask anything. There's no right or wrong. I'll get back to you. David?
You want me to ask one?
Yes.
Think like same thing for my dad as for you. Like it doesn't get old.
No, doesn't get old. The players, you know, the greatest part of being around the players is they think they're invincible. The worst thing about being around the players is they think they're invincible, right? It's a double-edged sword, but the relationships that you make, and you know it, you live it, the relationships that you make, the ability to help change lives, that's the part that you keep coming back to. And, you know, Florida Atlantic is so special. Of course, your boss is my boss, is also my wife. I met her here. Our 2 children were raised on this campus by your dad and Joan Joyce and, you know, Shan Walker and all the players and all the different teams. So this place is very special to me in many regards. But it's the players, you know, the relationships, not only with the current players, the previous players. That's what keeps you coming back, and I'm sure it's the same for your father.
He took mine, sorry.
Okay.
In today's world, what would you define as a successful season?
Wow, that's a great question, and it's one that's plagued man for the last 6 years. I think success is, of course, it's easy to define success when you say wins and losses, right? championships or no championships. But I think you have to look at the bigger picture in this day and age. I think what the players are saying when the season is over, right? In terms of, they are still young and they still need guidance. Are they getting that type of guidance? Did they do well in school? Were there issues off the field? Were there issues on the field? I think when you have to kind of look at it as a total thing, because there's so many variables that go on outside of these walls that we don't have control over. So it's really hard to, in any situation, to say it's about wins and losses, which we really know it is, but we try to kind of do the rest of it really well as well, so they leave here and they can be productive citizens. Like, still at the end of the day, my job is to support the mission of the president and the university, and our job is to graduate young people that are going to be successful in this world, right? So we happen to do it through baseball, and I mentioned that earlier, but my job is to make sure that they graduate and they have the tools to be successful when they head out into the world.
Do you think the boys playing baseball over the summer benefits them?
Yes. Baseball is I don't know if you've ever heard this term, it's a library game. I'll explain it. Baseball is a very unique game. The more times you can play it and the more situations you're in, you build a library in your head of that certain situation. And, I've been in this situation before, these are the outcomes, I understand the possibility of what can and can't happen. It's a learned game, plus your instincts get better and better. Baseball is a huge instinct game. The more you play, the better your instincts get, your library of different situation grows. That is for the position players. The pitchers, it's tough. It's tough because they throw overhand. Physiologically, it's not ideal, right? So you have to kind of protect them and protect how many times they do this in a year because of the amount of injuries that pitchers can sustain. The pitching injuries have gone up, and everybody thinks it's because guys are throwing more, which is debatable, but I think the training and the specialized training that pitchers go through now also exacerbates it, because your forearms get stronger, your biceps get stronger, your chest gets stronger, but your ligaments and tendons don't, right? So sometimes, and I had this conversation with the minor league pitching coach yesterday, I said, I think at times we outpace our DNA, right? We're putting too much stress on the finer points of our body because of how big some of these guys have gotten. But original question, I think summer ball for position players is a must. Pitchers, it's a case-by-case basis, okay?
What do you expect from your players off the field?
I expect them to be good people, right? To do things the right way. They're not only representing, first of all, they're representing themselves. Second of all, they're representing their family. Third of all, they're representing Florida Atlantic. And then fourth, they're representing the baseball program. And young people, and you're a young person, you guys grow up in a really tough time because of everything is on video, everything is on film, everything is recorded, everything is, and you seem to be always, like you see it, I see it, where something that happened when someone was 22 and now they're 32, people are like, well, they can't have this because they did this at 22, right? So that becomes tough. You guys live in a really tough, growing up in a really tough time. There's great things and then there's tough things. So I just expect them to be good people, that we spend enough time talking about doing the right thing that when it comes down to it, they do the right thing. Is that okay?
In terms of the ABCA, you're now the president.
Correct.
How long is the term, first of all?
1 year.
1 year. So what do you want to accomplish in your 1 year as president of the
ABCA? Well, we have some NCAA legislation that we would like to get passed. This is not only at the Division I level, but the high school level, Division II, NEI, Division III. We're involved in all of that. So there's some legislation we'd like to get passed, and the NCAA, they're heading towards a model which it would be easier because we're going to get into each sport's going to have some oversight and say, hey, this is what we think is best for us, and be able to enact the legislation. Ultimately, we just want to continue to grow the game. We want to make sure, especially at the youth level, that everybody is safe, and we talk about arm injuries a lot, and because the arm injuries are starting at a younger and younger age. Those are probably the biggest things that we're trying to accomplish. Grow the game, make sure that the youth are in it for the right reasons, they're staying healthy, trying to get help the coaches navigate some of the new stuff that they're going through, both at every level. High school, we talk about the portal. They've had that for a number of years now, so they're not immune to it either. No one's immune to it. But those are some of the things we're working on.
Anybody else?
That's it? What about young man?
Coach, what's the biggest thing that you've learned, especially when we're talking about all the injuries, about how to navigate such a long season like this and hopefully be able to keep arms as fresh as they were opening day towards the end of the season?
Patience. Young people have to learn patience. Coaches have to learn patience, right? You have to a baseball season is a long journey, as you mentioned, and it starts in August 25th and it ends, hopefully not until late June. So we need patience. We have to have the guys be able to have faith in us and in the training staff to tell us what they're feeling and how they feel that day. And we have to be able to accept what they're saying and maybe take a step sideways to be able to go forward, right? Because I don't believe in the rah-rah, hey, you go out there, man, let's do it for the, I don't believe in that, right? And it's our job to help them to understand what maybe fatigue is and what an injury is and what, not feeling great is, opposed to I'm actually hurt, right? There's two different things. So patience, education, making sure they believe in us to come and be able to sit down and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And it might be like, hey, you know what? Let's take a day and then see how we feel in a following day. Or, guys will come up and say, hey, I don't feel great. Now I'll take them off what we call the board. And they'll say, well, I'm not saying I can't pitch. I go, no, don't worry about it. We'll give you a day to kind of gather yourself, and then we can have a conversation the next day. But the one thing you have to, as a coach, you have to realize is young people want to play, they want to compete, and sometimes we have to save them from them and allow them a day of grace to gather themselves and be better for the next day instead of every day. I just never believed, and especially in baseball, football's different, basketball's different. Just like, I don't care how you feel, we're going out there, do it for the glory, that type of thing. I never bought into that, right? Especially in baseball and the finer points of throwing in your body. So, is that a good answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Emily, you have anything you want to know? Well, I thank you all for coming out. If you need something, let us know. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you guys caring about the program, caring about Florida Atlantic. If you ever need anything, let us know. We're here, you're students too, and we're here for you guys as we're all in this together.
We need
Okay?
a quarter zip.
What?
We need a quarter zip.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
work-
I'm the only one that hasn't asked a question, so I think I'm going to just to fit in the group.
Okay, but you're not a student, you're an old man.
That's right.
Okay.
But you opened the year, 8 straight home games against Power 5 teams, which I think is a loose term in college baseball. But just talk about the non-conference schedule and like how excited you are to be able to play 22, I think, out of 24 home games.
Well, as Marshall elegantly put it, we have the sun here and a blue sky. So we're fortunate that people want to come visit. But the schedule came together. There is no rhyme or reason, you know. We had talked to Notre Dame many years about getting down here, and it just kind of worked out. We actually had a second weekend opponent who couldn't come because of something happened in their conference, and they could only fly so many times. And then it just was like I was on the phone with somebody else, and they said, "Hey, I was looking." I called Rick up. "Hey, we'd love to come down there because we know the weather's good and we're going to play." Missouri's in town playing somebody, and said, "Hey, we'll come over on Tuesday." Great. Miami, of course, is an hour away. So, and then I think Villanova's the third weekend, and we used to play them all the time. You could look in the record books or online. We used to play them all the time in the late 90s, early 2000s. This is the first time we played them in a fair amount of years. And again, it's one of those, people, you meet people, you're talking, "Hey, can we get down there? Hey, we got an open weekend." We're excited about it, and I'm excited for the fans. They know where we're going to be for the next 6 weeks. Except for, I think we go to Gainesville, we go to Miami.
Yeah, you have 2 games where you're gone. That's all in-state.
Yeah. I think we go to Miami and we go to Gainesville. Other than that, we'll be here in the friendly confines, and it's a great experience, as the players had mentioned. Plus, the fans have been great. I know later in this season, it's a little bit tougher because of the weather, but early in the year, those games are, especially the Saturday games, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The crowds, the kids running around, the Berman zone, everything it's just great. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.